What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you guys tuning in for another video. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. Spending some time here in the boat. I'm actually heading fishing here tomorrow. So I just spent a little time getting some rods and tackle kind of prepped and just kind of reorganized and regrouped for some fall fishing here the next few weeks. You know, the weather's finally cooled down. So I'm kind of reorganizing the rods, reels, line, all of the tackle that I'm going to be using here over the next couple months. And really this is kind of my November rod setup here. So I'm going to do things a little bit different and you know, really leave it up to you guys. If you guys like this video, we may make this a series and kind of do this each month or each season, if you will, and just kind of go through all of the rods that I'm rigging up when I'm going out fun fishing or whatever it may be throughout the entire year. So it's up to you guys. If you guys like this video, make sure you let me know in the comments down below. But we're going to dive in and kind of do a what's on deck. You know, what I got rigged up, what I'm leaving on the boat, or leaving on the deck of the boat, ready to go out on the lake. I'm heading to Watts Bar tomorrow morning, so hopefully we can find a few fish with all these rods I rigged up. So if you guys are ready, let's jump in, and I'm gonna walk you through everything that I plan on using, and hopefully catching some bass on here over the next few weeks, really, but mainly I rigged this up for tomorrow. Okay, let's just start right here. Let's just go down the line, you know, and I'm going to get very specific with these guys. So hopefully you guys enjoy all this and can learn something from this. But first up, we got a frog. So this is the Frog Factory Sonic Boom. So this is actually a new frog that, you know, Frog Factory just come out with. And I've just kind of been playing with it a little bit here this off season. So this is the Sonic Boom frog right here. I've got him rigged up on 50-pound Seaguar Tactics braided line, and I got him on an 8-to-1 gear ratio reel, so a fast gear ratio reel. And I got him rigged up on a 7'3" heavy. This is a Fish USA flagship elite rod. These aren't available yet. We're still prototyping these, but these will be available real soon. So got a frog on deck, of course. Got to have a frog. You know, it's the time of year to be throwing a frog. Next up, going down the line, is a buzzbait. I got me a 3/8 ounce buzzbait. This is a hog snatcher buzzbait. You can see he's actually a little bit used. The blade hits the head right there, makes a knocking sound, or you can tune it so he doesn't make a knocking sound. Just got a little bit of a menace trailer on the back of there, just to kind of add some bulk and some little bit of trailer action to that bait to help it run true. Got it on the exact same setup as the frog. So 8-to-1 gear ratio, 50-pound braid, 7'3" heavy on the buzzbait, black and gold buzzbait right there. What do we got next? Moving down the line, we got a chatterbait. You got to have a chatterbait if you're fishing around grass. This is a 1/2 ounce jackhammer, and I got the 3.5-inch Zaco Slim trailer on there, but the trailer is something that I'm going to adjust. You know, that'll be kind of an on the water adjustment. This is kind of what I start with this time of year, but you know, if I'm getting some short strikes or something, I may adjust this trailer as the day goes on to like a shad shaped swimmer or the 3-inch Zaco. I'm going to be adjusting my trailer, you know, if that situation arises. I throw the chatterbait on 15-pound Seaguar Invisex fluorocarbon, and then I've actually been playing around with this rod for a chatterbait. This is a Phoenix M1. It's a 7'4" medium heavy. It's something that I really have enjoyed throwing a chatterbait on here recently, so that's something that I've been playing around with. And I got it on a 7.1-to-1 gear ratio reel. That's just a Shimano Bantam. But that right there, got to have a chatterbait on deck. Moving down the line, next up, I'm about to make a mess here. We got us a Topwater. Love throwing a Topwater this time of year. So this is actually just a Yozuri pencil, I believe is the name of this Topwater. I think it's a 110 size. But yeah, it's just a cool little Topwater, 3-hook Topwater. I kind of like that when I'm throwing these bigger, longer style baits like this. So Yozuri Topwater. Got him rigged up on a 7-foot medium heavy. So this is also a Fish USA flagship elite rod. I got him on 30-pound braid, so Seaguar Tactics braided line, 30-pound braid, and then I tie an FG knot right here to 20-pound mono, just to give them a little bit mono leader, mainly so that that front hook doesn't get caught on the line. But right there, got me a Topwater rigged up. What else we got? Next up here is the fish catcher for the fall, a 1/4 ounce mini trap. Bill Lewis mini trap right there. Man, that bait catches fish this time of year. It's something that'll always be on the deck for me. So 1/4 ounce trap, some sort of chromish shad color. I actually don't even know the name of that one, but I absolutely love that color. Have this rigged up on a 6'10" medium. So this is a flagship elite rod as well. 6'10" medium short rod to throw this short little bait. I got them rigged up on 12-pound Seaguar Invisex fluorocarbon, and then a 7.4-to-1 gear ratio reel. It's the Corrado 71, actually a little bit smaller reel for that smaller bait, but got that guy on deck right there. What else we got? Next up, next rod I grabbed, man, we are going in no particular order. Whatever I can grab is what I'm pulling up, is just a jig. So this is actually a prototype jig. Can't show you too much of that I've been playing around with. It's an MBeckerFishing prototype jig that'll be coming out here soon. And I have the Yamamoto Shinobi grub on there as a trailer. Throwing him on 17-pound Seaguar Tatsu fluorocarbon. That's what I got him rigged up on. And then this is another new rod I've been playing around with, new to me anyway. It's a Phoenix M1, not M1, K2. I'm sorry. See, it's so new, I don't even know the name. The K2, so this is a very high-end rod. It's a 7'6" heavy, but it's extremely light, balanced rod, something I've just been playing around with, trying to look for a replacement of some rods that I've used in the past. And I got them rigged up on an 8.1-to-1 gear ratio Metanium with that 17 pounds. So you got a jig. That's just in case I find any docks or laydowns or anything I want to fish here this fall. What do we got here next? Next up, we got a small little swim bait. So this is a 4-inch swim bait. It's not a hollow belly. He's a solid body swim bait, but I have him rigged up on the Core Tackle Tush swim bait head. So it's a 1/4 ounce with a 4-aught hook. Perfect little swimmer. Target some of those fish, maybe on long tapering points, something like that. Love throwing a swim bait this time of year. Got him rigged up on 15-pound Seaguar Invisex fluorocarbon. Again, another new rod that I've been playing around with. This is a Phoenix Recon, and it is a 7'6" medium heavy. So it's a fairly soft 7'6", and kind of like a longer rod for those longer casts with these swim baits this time of year. 7.1 gear ratio Bantam reel on there. And that's another rod that's on deck here this fall. Okay, next up is, you know, kind of a punching setup. We have a punching rod with I got a 1-ounce weight on here. That's a 1-ounce Epic Tungsten. 3-aught Trocar TK135 Monster flipping hook. 50-pound Seaguar Smackdown braided line. If you guys watched the recent tournament video from Lake Guntersville, this is the exact setup. I didn't even have to retie this. He's rigged up and ready to go. This is what I was throwing at Guntersville and leaving him rigged up in case I come across a mat or some grass that needs a little weight flip through it here on Watts Bar. So this is actually the Phoenix M1 7'8" heavy. Pretty good little flipping rod. You know, I've been messing around with this all year, and pretty solid for flipping these lighter 1-ounce, 3/4 ounce weights. Again, 8.1 gear ratio Metanium. That is my flipping setup that will be on deck. Next rod I grabbed right here, just a good old jerkbait. This is one of my favorite jerkbaits right here, Megabass 110. Hard to beat that bait right there. Got to have a jerkbait any time of the year, but especially in the fall as some of those bass start to move shallow. Throwing him on 12-pound Seaguar Invisex and the 6'10" flagship elite rod right there. 7.4 gear ratio Corrado 71, and got Got my jerkbait set up. That guy right there gets a lot of use, and he's gonna stay on the deck for the rest of the season. Next up on the list is another little crankbait right here. This is the Bill Lewis SB57. Excellent little square bill crankbait. You gotta have a square bill on deck this time of year just in case you come across a shallow point or some rock that has some bait pulled up on it. Excellent way to catch some fish. So I got the Bill Lewis SB57 rigged up. Throw him on 12-pound Seagar and Vizex as well. And that same 610 medium flagship elite. This is actually the exact same setup as the jerkbait. So the 7.4 gear ratio as well. So it's the same setup as the trap, the jerkbait, and the SB57 square bill. So next rod that I got right here is the glide bait. You got to have a glide bait on deck if you want to catch a big bass. You know, this is something that it may not get a lot of use, but it's going to be on the deck just in case that situation arises. If I see that perfect place to throw a glide bait, that's what I'm doing right here. So this is the War Panda Nug. If you guys follow the channel, we had a video recently talking about him. Excellent little glide bait. I love throwing him all year, but especially in the fall, he is staying on deck for me. So throwing him 25-pound Seagar AbrazeX fluorocarbon. I like the AbrazeX because it's a little bit more abrasion resistant. If I were to happen to get it in a tree or something, you know, these are high dollar baits, so you don't want to lose your high dollar glide baits. So make sure you're throwing it on a good fluorocarbon line. I got some kind of nastiness on my line there. Anyway, the rod I'm throwing it on, this is a Dobbins Fury. So it's a fairly economy friendly swim bait rod. It's a 7'9" medium heavy. It's a perfect rod that really handles these smaller glide baits, if you will. You know, this is a 7-inch bait, so I would call it more on the smaller side of glide baits, but handles these really well. And then I got it on a big reel. So this is actually a Corrado 300 series 301, and I got it on the 6.6 gear ratio, so a little bit slower gear ratio, so I don't move this glide too fast and maybe pull it away from them. But that's a perfect little glide setup there, and it's, like I said, the rod is fairly cheap for a big swim bait rod, and it gets the job done. So the glide is definitely staying on deck throughout the entirety of the fall. Another bait that you gotta have in the fall is gonna be a little spinnerbait. Hard to beat a little spinnerbait. So this right here, this is just a Megabass spinnerbait. But what I did on the back of it was actually add a little trailer to it. So it adds a little weight, helps you cast it a little bit better, a little more accurate, and gives it a little bit of bulk that actually helps float this bait. It allows you to slow it down and fish a little bit slower. So this is actually just the 3.5-inch Yamamoto scope shad. So you guys see me throw that minnow all the time, or as a minnow all the time, but now I'm putting it on the back of a chatterbait, or not a chatterbait, the back of a spinnerbait. And like I said, the main reason I'm putting that trailer on there is just to add a little bulk to it, help me cast it accurately, and give a little bit bigger profile for those fish that are trying to eat some bait right there. Now you don't need to add the trailer, but like I said, I like adding the trailer for the just a little bit added weight to help you cast it a little bit further. So throwing him 15-pound Seagar and Vizex fluorocarbon, throwing him on a 7-foot medium heavy. It's also a flagship elite rod from Fish USA. 7.4 gear ratio reel. It's just another Corrado. And yeah, that's the spinnerbait setup. You know, there's lots of baits, a lot of bait around in the fall. So you got to have a spinnerbait. It imitates that bait extremely well. Okay, moving down the line, we got one more bait caster. Boy, we got a lot of rods rigged out and going to be all over the deck. But next up is just a good old shaky head. Hard to beat a shaky head any time of year, but I'm always going to have one on the deck in the fall, especially for when I find those group of fish and I need to slow down. Maybe want to fish a piece of wood, piece of brush, something. Shaky head's an excellent way to catch those fish. So that's just a 3/16 ounce shaky head with a Yamamoto Sensei worm. This is a awesome little shaky head worm. Catches me a lot of fish throughout the year all over the country. Got them rigged up on 15-pound Seagar Tatsu fluorocarbon. And then we get down to the rod. This is another Phoenix K2 rod. This is a 7'1" medium heavy. I like that little bit shorter rod, allows me to make nice accurate roll casts, kind of get under docks or wood or whatever it may be. Extremely light, sensitive rod. And then I got it on a Corrado 71 as well, 8.1 gear ratio reel though, just in case need to pick up some more line. I got that faster gear ratio. Okay, let's get over to the fun stuff now. The spinning rods, that's what we all love. Let's be real, that's probably what we're gonna catch most of them on, is a spinning rod. Isn't that how it always works, it seems? Anyway, we got 3 different minnows rigged up and ready to go for some fall bass fishing. First up is gonna be the tried and true Yamamoto scope shad and Becker's grape juice. Love that little guy right there, so confident in him, love that color. And catch some really big fish on that little 3-inch scope shad. Actually, he's got some teeth marks on him already. I caught some fish on him this past weekend. But rigged him up on a 3/16 ounce tungsten jig head. That is actually the Queen's Tackle jig head right there. Tied a loop knot on my 10-pound Seaguar Tatsu fluorocarbon. And then tie an FG knot to my braided line, which is my Seaguar PEX8 braided line in the 18-pound size. That's what I run on all of my spinning setups right here. So this is another Fish USA flagship elite spinning rod. This is the minnow shaker. This is the 6'9" medium. Awesome little rod for shaking these small little minnows. Love this setup right here. Extremely happy with how these rods turned out right here. And then I've got my favorite little spinning reel, a 1000 size twin power on my minnow rod right there. So moving on, I got the exact same setup, rod, reel, line, all that good stuff, even the jig head. But I changed up the bait a little bit to a new bait from Yamamoto, something I've been playing around with here a lot lately and really love this little guy, is the new hinge minnow, but this is the 3.5-inch size. So that small little shad profile, it's got that wider profile than say the scope shad, but that little 3.5-inch hinge minnow, awesome little bait. And you just gotta have multiple options, multiple color options, multiple size options, profiles for some of these fish that are highly pressured. That's why I'm gonna have multiple minnows on there. And then we get down to the last minnow, I guess technically the last minnow that we're gonna have on deck is gonna be just a little bit bigger. So this is a brand new bait that just came out as well. This is the 4-inch fat shad shaped worm from Yamamoto. So it's a little bit bigger, bulkier profile than the little scope shad that I have. I got him on a 1/4 ounce head just in case I wanna fish him a little bit deeper, a little bit bulkier profile, but he's got that little pintail that just dances around, all kinds of action. This bait rolls really well. Actually, these are just in stock right now, so if you want to try a new minnow, this little fat shad-shaped worm is an excellent choice right there. Same line setup as all the others, but actually have him on a little bit bigger rod. So when I throw those heavier minnow heads and bigger minnows, I want a little bit longer rod, so I go with a 7-foot medium and a 3000 size reel on that right there. So that's my minnow setups right there. That's really all of the bass setups we're gonna have on deck. But it's the fall of the year. Of course, I can't go fishing and not have a couple crappie setups on deck. So I got 2 of my favorite crappie rods rigged up and ready to go. We got basically 2 6.6 to 6.8. These are just kind of various spinning rods I've acquired over the years. This one's a 6'4". What is this one? This one is a 6'5", just short little medium light action spinning rods, and got small little swim baits on there like this right here. This is just a 3-inch Kitech Easy Shiner, but it's in the color called Crappie Magic, which is a Fish USA exclusive color. So that's something that you know, I pretty well know that I'm gonna have to myself out there on the water if those crappie get a little tricky. I got something that nobody else has. So that's the 3-inch one right there. And then I also like to throw the 2-inch version of that same swim bait right there in multiple different colors. But got those on the deck. Gotta have the crappie set up on the deck just in case I run across something. Maybe the bass fishing's a little tough and I see a little group of crappie, I'm gonna go catch a few of them and have some fun and just enjoy feeling that thump and reeling some in, regardless of what it is. But that was a lot. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. That's everything that I'm gonna have on deck heading out on the water here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you learned something. If you got any questions, please drop it in the comments down below. If you like this video, you want to see more of these throughout the seasons or throughout the year, definitely let me know and we will try and do our best and bring you guys what's on the deck all throughout the season. So appreciate you guys as always. Leave me those likes and comments down below. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys next time.